if you're thinking, oh, Lila, you look like you've just woken up, you would be correct. It is 2:30. I woke up at like 12 and my bed was so comfy I don't want to get up. And this is all completely irrelevant. Basically, the last few nights I've just been sat in bed and I've just been thinking about this topic and how I've just like not spoken about enough. So I just wanted to film a video on it, basically. Not gonna lie, it's a bit of a rough thing for me to talk about, just generally. So if there's like lots of cuts and stuff, it's because I've had to take a break. In this video we're going to be talking about like body issues, body shaming, massively about body shaming because it just enrages me. Eating disorders and stuff like that. So I am going to try and not be triggering. And I know what can and can't be, which we'll get on to later. Why I know that, which are pretty given why I know that. Oh, my ring light's on the way. But yeah, if you do think this is going to be a bit too much for you, then obviously don't watch it. It's mostly just for educational purposes and sort of to make some people feel guilty, I'm not going to lie. Yeah, but I've got a cup of tea. And we're just going to get into it. First off, we're going to talk about body shaming because I genuinely don't think people seem to understand how much of an effect it has on people. Unless you're like completely satisfied. Sorry, my mirror just fell. Satisfied with yourself. I've got a whole section I'm going to talk about on like my experience and stuff, but I just think it is just completely unnecessary. I don't know why. Like, I feel like whenever people body shame either larger girls or smaller girls, and or men, I guess. We'll talk about men too. Whenever people body shame people, I just think, what was the need? Like, really, what was the need? Like, oh, it's funny, is it? Okay, why? Why is it funny to completely shift someone's image of their own body and make them not want to be themselves? I don't get it. I don't understand why that would be funny, just to, like, fuck up someone's like brain. Because I think people don't quite understand how much of an impact it really has. And it's not even like straight up body shaming, like just going up to someone being like, you're fat or you're insanely twiggy like a stick. Like, I just don't see the need. Like, really, like, why would you want to say that to someone? Like, genuinely. And I think, just again, in my experience, I'm again going to do a whole thing on my experience, but a lot of people, when it comes to being a little bit chubby, I just want to say, I don't like my body, but I am fully aware that I am not clinically overweight. It doesn't really affect my health in any way. But whenever people seem to be body shamed, it always seems to be promoting obesity if people want to like validate it in any way. And I just think, how is someone existing just promoting obesity? And why is your health their concern? Because usually people that say it to you aren't your friends. Again, I have had people say it to me that are my friends. But I just don't get it. Like, can someone just explain it to me? Like, why would you want to go up to someone, or why would you want to say it behind someone's back? Like, that they're fat. Like, does it affect you? Well, I don't think so. And people's perception of fat, especially teenage boys, can I just say, is fucked. There's no other way to put it. This is basically just turned into a rant, isn't it? But it is. It's just fucked. Like, I personally don't think I'm like that fat. Like, I do look in the mirror and think, wow, she's fat. Someone I know, one of my friends, people used to call her fat and she's literally not at all. Do you know what? Unless you're tiny, people will call you fat, and I just think, why? And it's something that I've noticed at uni people are sort of growing out of, but at the same time it does reside in you when people have said that. Like, it's just small things, like if you really fancy someone, they don't fancy you, your brain immediately goes to, oh, it's because I'm fat. They think I'm fat. And it's stuff like that. Like, I don't see the need of body shaming. I know I'm talking about like more people that are chubbier than I am people that are skinny, but obviously again it's because it's my experience. But that's the thing, like when people are skinnier, you get, oh, just eat, which in itself is fucked, because I'm not being funny, people with eating disorders don't have to be skinny. That pisses me off beyond belief. Like, the diagnosis thing for anorexia is that you have to be underweight, and I just think, but people's bodies don't work like that. You're really going to wait for it to affect their physical health before you focus on the mental health side of it. That really enrages me. Anyway, that's a whole other thing about like eating disorders and stuff, which I will get onto. I feel like this is just going to be a mess. I've been talking for like 5 minutes. I'm just angry. I'm going to go into my own experiences because I just feel like they're the best examples of ways to not be a dickhead. I just want to say, like, I have a very not good body image, and I don't deal with it in the best way. Do you know what? Part of me wants to say, like, I have an eating disorder, because I'm sort of fully aware that I do, and everyone that I, like, knows about me and, like, my eating and stuff would agree. But I don't want to tell the doctors. I haven't told the doctors, so I don't have a diagnosis or anything. But it is pretty fucking obvious. But I do, which I've kept a bit of a secret for the last few months. I remember when this first started happening, I said it to my mum. I was like shocked that it had taken this long for me to develop something like this, because I have been fat shamed my entire fucking life. And when I say my whole life, I mean since I was like 8 years old, maybe. When I was in year 7, I was called fat all the time. By year 11s, by the way, I was bullied by year 11s when I was in year 7, which, again, completely fucked. And I don't even think that's like on the basis of body shaming and stuff. It's just very messed up. Like 16-year-olds were bullying an 11-year-old girl for no reason. None at all. They just, yeah. But I just got called fat the whole year, and like my friends would say it behind my back, and it's always just people's like go-to thing with me. And so what I started to do, this was later on, what I started to do was I wouldn't talk about my body at all. So when I went into 6th form, I just didn't mention my body ever. I would never say I was fat or anything, so I thought, okay, if I'm not fat, and I say to people that I'm fat, and people hear that I think I'm fat, then they'll say it. And people said it anyway, and that's when I really did take a turning point in my brain. But, skipping backwards, anyway. So yeah, went through my whole of secondary school, just being called fat. And I just want to say, when I was in year 7, I was fucking tiny, and year 8, I was again fucking tiny, but everyone just, fat. Everyone thought I was fat, everyone said I was fat. And when I say everyone, I mean my friends would say it behind my back. Obviously they're not real friends, and I'm not really friends with them anymore, but like obviously it was a long time ago. So I remember this one time, my like best friend at the time, who I feel like I might watch this, but yeah, said behind my back, oh, she doesn't look like her Instagram, she's much fatter in real life. I was 11. Yeah. And then I had a lot of other, like my mental health issues in general started getting really bad when I was in like year 8 anyway. But again, continuous fat shaming for no reason. It's just like small comments that people don't even realise that they're doing. Like you'll be sat there and someone will just like point out a roll. Like I've got a fucking roll right now, like I'm sat like this, of course I do. But my friends didn't have that. So I was like, oh okay, I'm fat. Summer after that I gained a lot of weight, and I gained a lot of weight throughout year 9. I'm not really sure why, if I'm being completely honest. Generally, year 9, 10 weren't a great time for me at all. Year 11 was horrific. But I gained a lot of weight, and that was sort of when I felt like the worst about my body. And I do look back at it now and think, yeah. And it was because I'd gone up like 2 dress sizes. There's one specific pair of trousers that I can pinpoint that like contributed a lot to it. Now, my school trousers, and when I was in year 8, I was a size 10, 12, sometime. I think 10, 12. It doesn't matter about sizes, by the way. Sizes don't mean shit, and I'd say that all the time and completely ignore it myself because I have just a hatred for sizing and everything, and it makes me cry all the time. But anyway, yeah, so I'd gone up 2 dress sizes, and I remember wearing a size of 14 trousers, and they were like, I'd wear them because I didn't want to be bigger than a 14. But they physically hurt to wear like every day. It's just small things, and they just add up and add up and add up and add up, and it's like my whole life the one thing that everyone has said to me is, you're fat. And like, you might think you're the only one saying it, it's just gonna be like a single passing comment, but it won't be.
I'm just editing, but I just wanted to add this in here. The only reason comments like your fat hurt is because we are taught our whole lives that they're supposed to, and it's used as an insult, which God knows why. You know, women's bodies being fashion trends, and again, this is a whole other conversation, but being fat's not a bad thing. It's just portrayed to be, and I feel like I'm worried that in this video I've made it come across like it is a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. Fat shaming is a bad thing. Being fat is not a bad thing.
In year 11, I tried to lose weight. I went on Scott-whilde, lost a little bit of weight. I think I went on Scott-whilde as well when I was in year 11. And before year 12, I had actually lost weight, but I think that's because I was happier. I had a shit time in year 11. If you know me and you've known me for that long, you'll have known year 11 was like the worst year of my life. I got my heart broken a bit, and because of everything that happened, my brain was immediately like, oh, it's because I'm fat. And it didn't help that his new girlfriend eventually was absolutely stunning and so slim, and it just doesn't help, does it? Like, it doesn't make you feel any better, which is, it's not like, of course I'm going to compare myself to her, but yeah. Anyway, it's just like always thinking like, oh, I didn't like you because of that. It's just always that one thing that your brain will go to because people have drilled it fucking into you for like years. When in reality, I look at pictures from year 7 and 8 when people were saying that I was fat, and I'm like, no, I wasn't. I was tiny. Like, this one angers me so much. What is wrong with people's perception of fat? And why is it so much worse for women? Like, I get men get body shamed constantly, and it's so much worse because it's like pushed off as just like banter, and it really does piss me off. But with women, it is so much easier for you to be fat. Like, so much. Ugh. And if you're not fat, you stick thin. And I said this before, I went into year 12 and I didn't want to mention that I felt like I was fat or anything, because I think I'd lost weight. Again, I don't really have a concept of what my body looks like, as I've realised recently. But as I went into year 12, I didn't mention I was fat, and then I started hearing that people were saying it, and I was like, okay, so it must be true, because I've gone from school to school to school now, and it's just the thing that seems to chase me everywhere. It was just like people that I thought my friends saying it about me, and I suck because I'm still friends with them. But like one of the really hard hitting comments was made by like one of my best friends, my best male friends, said behind my back, and I feel like he's gonna see this, and I don't actually think he knows that I know he said this. He said, so he called me fat, and one of my female friends took up for me and were like, what the fuck, don't say that. And he went, oh come on, it's like saying a wall's not hard. So then I just felt like I was in denial about loving my body. Like, why would I want to love my body if I was fat? Which, by the way, being fat, not a bad thing. Just love your body. I wish I could actually ingrain that in my brain, but here we are. My friends would literally call me fat and tell me that, like, I needed to lose weight or, like, I shouldn't eat that. And it got to the point, this is in year 11. I just kind of skip over that year generally in my brain. It got to the point where I just didn't want to eat in front of them, because they'd say that I was fat and that I needed to lose weight, and then I'd go on like a stupid fad diet and they'd be like, no, you're doing it wrong. And I'm like, and this is what I mean, like, this is why I'm shocked it's taking me this long for me to have really badly disordered eating. And I think, to be honest, I think I've had somewhat disordered eating since I was a child. When I was younger, I used to count everything I ate that day, like, not calorie wise, just like how many like things I'd eaten, and I'd tell my mum at the end of the day, and I'd just tell her, because I just wanted to feel like I hadn't eaten a lot that day. But then it wouldn't help because I'd eaten a normal amount. But yeah, it's just, yeah. And then when it got really bad, which is when I don't want to admit, this is basically one of the biggest, this is the turning point. This is where my eating sort of started. So if you want to skip over this. But I've literally been talking about myself for about 10 minutes now, but I just think it's good examples, it's good examples of how you can affect someone. So, some random guy I'd never spoken to in my year just commented on one of my TikToks calling me fat, and I was like, you what? And obviously a lot of people in my year group were like, that is fucked up, like, why would he say that? And a lot of people were like, it's not true. But a certain amount of people who I hate and like invoke anger in me to talk about, which I hate because they love that, they thrive off that, but they just decided to agree with him. My friends would be like screaming at them for obvious reasons, because what the fuck? And they were just saying that I was fat, and then they were saying, again, they twisted it because obviously a lot of people didn't agree with them saying it just out of the blue randomly. They twisted it saying, oh, but I'm like concerned about the NHS, like what her health has an impact on the NHS. And then because I have a lot of doctor's appointments because I'm on antidepressants, so they need to like check up on me, which again they knew about, these boys, they just don't think, and I'm on a pill which is really high risk, so I need to get checked up on that all the time, and I'm ill a lot. I was going to the doctors a lot, I was missing a lot of school purely because I was like very depressed in year 13. And they said that I was going to the doctors all the time because of my weight. At the time, I think me and everyone were like, she's like average size. Like, she's really not like clinically obese, and a lot of people would be like, what the fuck? But it just basically turned into this whole debate on whether I need a fucking like gastric band and whether I'm clinically obese and like unhealthy, and I'm a dancer, right? I have to be fair, I say I'm a dancer. I haven't danced in a fucking long time, but I go to the gym. I don't eat horrendously bad. I eat better than the lads that were saying this. And I just remember everyone being like, oh, what the actual fuck? But, so I was thinking like, pass it off. Doesn't even matter because they are clearly just saying things, right? But eventually, this did end up becoming sort of the final nail in the coffin that sort of pushed me over the edge, which part of me wants me to fucking hate themselves for it, and part of me knows that they're just going to think, oh, well, at least she's losing weight. But that wasn't when it started. It started 2 months about into lockdown when I noticed that I'd gained weight and my fake pair of jeans didn't fit me anymore. Like at all, because I'd gained weight over lockdown, and I kept thinking to myself, if I was fat before, I must be absolutely huge now. And that is when it started, and it's got very bad recently, and I am not going to get into it at all because that would be triggering, but it just slowly developed, and a lot of people just don't notice unless it's got physical effects. But I would like cry every time I ate. I didn't enjoy eating anymore. And now we're at the point now which I'm not going to talk about how much I eat because I don't think that would be good. Just so many different things have contributed towards this. So I think the thing you want to take away from this is your small comment is in a pile of other comments, and your small comment could push someone over the edge to an eating disorder, which, by the way, literally, they fucking suck. Because obviously eating is just like a normal thing that you have to do on a daily basis, but I don't want to anymore. And it's more than just wanting to lose weight now. It's so strange and psychological. There's no way to properly explain it. Yeah, it's just not fun. So, to those boys who are now aware that they pushed me over the edge into my eating disorder and are now going to say that no, it was her gaining weight in lockdown that pushed her over the edge to my eating disorder. Am I healthier now? Are you still concerned about my health? Probably because I'm still fat. So yeah, you're concerned because I'm still fat and I'm still going to cause a strain on the NHS with my gastric band surgery. Don't even know why I'm going to cry. Like, this is the bit where I want to talk about like combating them and preventing them in the first place. And I think the first thing to say is don't fucking comment on people's bodies. It is not your place. And even if you are genuinely concerned about their health, you know what I mean. They can work that one out themselves. You don't need to tell them. You don't. Especially in just like random TikTok comments or just like randomly behind someone's back. Because promise, they will find out. And they'll find out at least some of the comments. And then secondly, I just think the lack of education on eating disorders is crazy. People talk about when you get educated on mental health in schools, just turn around. You get taught about depression, anxiety, obviously very important, a little bit of OCD, which by the way needs to be taught more about, but again, that is a whole other topic. And you don't get taught about BPD at all, which is fun. Just basically it's just depression, anxiety with a touch of OCD. But anyway, eating disorders are not talked about. Rarely. They exist. Actually, no, they don't exist. Anorexia and bulimia exist. No other eating disorders exist. Even Googling, I can't find any others, which I know there is. Why? Because I genuinely think, I know so many people with eating disorders, and I know so many people that have disordered eating, and have no fucking idea. Like, genuinely think that what they're doing is normal. And I think it's only something you notice when you've done a lot of research into eating disorders, obviously, as I have, because I sort of have to. And I wish people knew what was normal. Health is taught in schools. What's healthy to eat? Good, taught in schools. But it's taught that things are wrong to eat. And but they're only wrong when they make you fat. The whole way that children and everyone is taught about to look at food just makes people put way too much pressure on themselves. Myself included, this is how it started. I'm not going to mention names, but people I know put way too much pressure on themselves when it comes to calorie counting and shit like that, because we're taught that at such a young age. We're taught that we're not supposed to eat over this amount of calories a day, and then I worry all the time that I do, which I don't anymore, but again, still my brain goes, oh, you have. Anyway, I just think education on eating disorders would just be so preventative, because people don't fucking realise that they're getting themselves into it. Like, only now have I realised that dreaming of wanting to lose weight, like, every single day of my life, I have always wanted to be skinny. It's my one goal. Whenever I picture myself on this older, I would always think, but I'll be skinny then. It's fine, I'll sort it out, I'll be skinny then. Why? Why do I have to be skinny then? I genuinely believe that body positivity and loving yourself is so much more important than what anyone else thinks of your body. Go back to the point of education. People need to realise that their eating is disordered. People need to be educated on what is and isn't disordered eating. But like, why do I need to be skinny? Why? Why am I not allowed to enjoy food anymore? And it's so frustrating, because this is like the recovery part of my brain that's like saying all this, but then I'm not going to say what the other side of my brain is saying to me. Oh, it's just shit. Like, so many people develop eating disorders for so many different reasons that they're just not spoken about at all. And I know I've spoken about body shaming, but it's not the only reason that eating disorders developed. I just want to say that right now. I know I've spoken about body shaming mostly, but that's just because it's my experience. And again, I know I've also spoken mostly about being bigger rather than being smaller. But again, because it's my experience. And I just don't get it. People just... Why do people have opinions on other people's bodies? Just don't get it. And it's just horrendous, because I just see so many people in my life go through this every fucking day. Every day. I hate it so much, because I have to go through it too, obviously. And it's to the point where I can't talk about it properly with my friends anymore. I can't help my friends because I'm in a horrendous position, and I get triggered by other people talking about how much they're eating and working out and how much they hate their body, and I really hate it, because I am the friend that I want to be there for everyone. I want to help people, and I can't do that right now thanks to all of those dickheads that have body shamed me and led me down this path, and the lack of education on eating disorders and all of that. It's just horrendous, and I just think I'm just going to have to stop there, because I've already had to pause this and had a little bit of a moment quite a few times. Yeah, I know this has been quite a ranty video, and I don't know how I'm going to edit this down, and I don't know if it's made a lot of sense, but I feel like it's just been a shambles. But I need this message to get out there. It is not your place. If you aren't attracted to somebody's body, why does that matter? Why do you need to comment on it? And why are you so obsessed with it? Like, what effect does it make on you? Like, genuinely. Are you just like, people just enjoy pissing people off and just enjoying, and then they go and talk about, like, this is the whole other thing, then they go and talk about, oh, I care about people's mental health. You caused my eating disorder. But yeah. Okay. Go on, you care about mental health. And I was just thinking, should I cut that out? I'm not going to cut that out, because that is the raw fucking truth. If you say shit like that to people, and you know the impact it can have, because you do know, you're not fucking stupid. You don't just say it and think, oh, it's not going to do anything, it's going to make them lose weight. No, it's not. You saying, oh, you're fat, is not going to make anyone lose weight in a healthy way. The only way you'll lose weight in a healthy way, if you want to. If you're thinking, okay, I just want to be healthier. You saying shit about someone's body is not doing fucking anything. And I'm just angry. I'm so angry, because there's so little education. People don't even realise that they're doing it to themselves. They don't realise that they're doing it to others, which, partial. Anyway. I'm gonna go finish my cup of tea and just like calm down. But I'm not gonna say I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you listen to this video. I hope you take something from it. Yeah.